I am beyond excited to share this idea with you. I actually did something today that yielded me a free share of NVDA where I did not have to take any money out of my account to get a share of NVDA. I'm going to take you through the play, and then I am going to apply it to a system that you can put together to actually take about $10,000, and in 5 years, you will have put together a portfolio for your child or grandchild that will yield them approximately $75,000 worth of NVIDIA stock. I'm going to take you through all of the math and show you how this works. It would be so much better to take that amount of money and produce something that could be life-changing for someone that you love. And 5 years goes by lightning fast. Let me remind you what was happening 5 years ago. We were dealing with the beginnings of the COVID pandemic. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle had their first child, Archie. Seems like that was just yesterday. And the U.S. women's soccer team was victorious in the World Cup. All of this has happened in the last 5 years, and it's gone by lightning fast. So if you put this process in place, you can give the gift of a lifetime in NVIDIA stock, almost $100,000 worth of it, to someone you love by just taking $10,000 today. Let's go through everything. I would encourage you, after watching this video, to send it to at least one person that you care about. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a relative. I myself am doing this for my children, and I know years from now they will thank me. Here's NVIDIA on the TradingView chart. I had sold a $100 put expiring this Friday, and this morning you can see we are up at this point at 5.42%, 5.5%, I guess is the best way to say it. We're at 110. You can see the range for the day, all the way down to 101, up to 110. So now this is time for me to actually go take action on the sold put. Let me show you how this works. I wait for this to be defined, and now that I see we're pushing, I know that the sold put that I have will now start eroding in value, which is good for me because I got a premium for it last Friday. Now I can buy it back for really cheap. Let me show you. Here's the trade right here. It's NVIDIA. It's a sold put at the $100 strike. I sold this when NVIDIA was further down on Friday. And you can see right here that the value left in it is only $54, and it's 54 cents. So basically, this is almost 75% realized in literally one trading day. So I am going to take advantage of this. I am going to buy this back. I received a lot more for it. I'm going to buy it back for 54 cents. I will be profiting $156 on the trade. So let's do that. When you're buying back a sold put, you buy to close, and then you can see here on the day's range, 52 cents all the way up to $1.50. Well, since I'm buying it back, I want to be here at the lower end of the range, and I am. Right now, it's at 53 cents. So this is a good trade. I can market this trade because it's already at the bottom. I will be receiving $158, preview order, and submit. Now, since I just made $150, now I am going to go buy a share of NVIDIA with my earnings. Right now, NVIDIA is trading at 110. I received 154, so I guess I got a tip, which is nice when you can get a tip for your hard work in the stock market. I'm going to go ahead and market this because I want to go ahead and get this share in my portfolio. Here it is, $110. Submit. If you go and check the order status for the day, you can clearly see right here, this is where I purchased back that sold put, and I received the profit on that. I turned around and purchased this share for $110. So I effectively got a free share of NVIDIA based on selling puts. So could you imagine every week doing this and you can get a free share of quality stock done over a young person's lifetime? This could truly be life-changing, and it took no actual money out of their pocket. So you just saw the actual play. Now let's go through the thesis on how this may work for you to amass $75,000 worth of NVIDIA for your loved one in 5 years. Now, you just saw the play that I did that rendered me a free share of NVIDIA. Let's apply this to a larger scale and look at it over the length of time of 5 years to see how this could work out to give your loved one about $75,000 worth of NVIDIA shares using an initial $10,000 investment. If you were to do this for 52 weeks in a given year, that would be 52 shares. However, I want to be conservative. Let's assume that it works out 30 weeks out of the 52 that you try it, and you are able to actually secure at least one share for 30 weeks in a given year. Now, let's repeat that process for 5 years. At the end of the 5-year mark, you would have earned enough in premium to have purchased 150 shares of NVIDIA. Now, let's look at the projected price of NVIDIA in 5 years so that we can get a better sense of how this may work. If you look at the growth rate of NVIDIA since 2022, it has grown approximately 145% per year. Now, I don't know if we will keep growing at that rate, but just to be conservative, I plugged in about a 36% growth over the next 5 years. If we can accomplish that, as you can see in my chart, that puts NVIDIA at about $500 a share in 2029. Now, keep in mind, this is very conservative, so I think it's very realistic. If you go back to the 150 shares that you were able to produce by selling puts on NVIDIA, that would be 150 shares times $500 a share. That's the $75,000 in NVIDIA that you could turn over to a loved one, and I imagine you would be on their Christmas card list every year. If you like the way I teach, I would appreciate a huge favor. If you will just like and subscribe to my channel, I will keep producing content just like this. And if you're really feeling generous, go ahead and leave a comment below. It goes such a long way, and I do read 100% of the comments you leave me. I'm going to close this video out with this brief clip on NVIDIA. Enjoy.
NVIDIA shares are up nearly 5% today and more than 9% despite last week's sell-off. While the volatility left some investors wary of the big AI names, our next guest saw the dip as a buying opportunity, upping his stake big time. Let's bring in fast money trader and Grasso Global CEO Steve Grasso. Give me the deets, Steve. It's good to see you.
How you doing, Kelly? Yeah, this could have. I always love hindsight when it proves you're right. Because this was a binary instance, though. This could have went very bad against me if the macro market sold off. It didn't, so I look great, on a micro basis after the fact. I own NVIDIA. I originally owned NVIDIA, I should say, in the 120s was my average, and I expanded that position considerably. So now my average is around 102. So that's how much I was buying on that dip. Once again, that dip could have gained more strength. The market could have sold off more precipitously. It didn't. So once I started to see the market solidify, I really leaned into that position for NVIDIA.
What's the exit strategy?
Yeah, so normally, what those of you who follow me on Twitter or watching on Fast Money, I usually trade around a core position, which means that I'll have my core positions and then I'll trade tails around it. The tail actually became the core. So I think that the stock probably trades back up to the 120 range, and shorter term, obviously 115. That was just a blink of an eye of where it was today. So I think you're going to see higher prices. I think the market has to perform well. Market doesn't perform well, this is definitely a momentum stock. I think you're going to see a 120 print sooner rather than later in the name.
Yeah, because I wonder, not that the bloom is coming off the rose, but that there's a sense when you see Apple Intelligence coming out without being trained on NVIDIA chip, I'm going to get of some of these other rollouts that don't necessarily require those big expensive workhorses. Are they kind of telling people that there's a way to participate in the AI rush without it necessarily being that NVIDIA share price doubles and it becomes a $6 trillion company or whatever? We kind of dialed that back a little bit, I wonder.
Yeah, I think that's a valid premise. But when you think about it, they still own 85% of the market share in AI. So maybe to the extent of the chip that's going to be used could change just depending on what sector of the economy that you're in. But ultimately, if you want premium, you're going to go with NVDA. Everyone that we heard from in large cap tech is increasing their spend in chips. Do they all need the highest price chip? Maybe not, but they're all going to be buying some aspect of NVIDIA, and nothing grows to the sky, Kelly, to your point. But I think we saw that drawdown pretty effectively last week, and I think people are getting back into an understanding that the fundamentals are still sound.
Yeah, that's my last question. After everything that's just happened, it feels a little back to the future to me that we don't come out of this, repositioning or whatever it is and say, okay, time to rotate into the smaller caps and the mid caps and the value. This one, it's kind of, okay, no, yields are lower. The NASDAQ's outperforming the Russell today. NVIDIA's taking off. And what does that tell you? Or is it ad fake?
Well, it tells you, if you look at the chart on IWM, if you look at the chart on the small caps, those names, 45% or so of small caps are unprofitable companies. Back in the 90s, that number was 15%. So people want to travel where they have these fortified balance sheet, where they have earnings, where earnings are growing. And that is still large cap tech and technology as a whole. So yes, I think we are back to the future. And no matter which sector you are investing in, it will evolve with chips, and that takes technology to do it.